Okay, in this video, we're going to be talking about grooming. Grooming starts right when you bring your puppy home. It's very important that you start keeping your puppy mat-free right when you go home. That's your goal, is to make sure that there's no resistance in the entire coat, no mats. Now, puppies are prone to mat behind the ears where there's friction, in their fore armpits where there's friction, and on their hindquarters where they sit on their rump. So you want to go over the entire body of your puppy with a 7-inch metal comb, and we do sell those in our store here, and this is all you need to keep your puppy mat free. Now, you don't want to make the mistake of brushing your puppy just the top coat. You want to get down at the base skin level and go all the way through the coat to make sure there's no resistance, and just go over your entire puppy. You can start with your bath, and you can use a tearless shampoo. When you give a bath, you want to make sure that you don't get any soap in the eyes. It causes ulcers, and you don't want to get any water in the nose because they can actually drown and die. And you don't want to get any water in the ears. So go ahead and lather up your puppy with nice warm water and some soap. One of my favorite products for shampoo is Best Shot. A lot of times customers comment on how good our puppies smell. So one of my favorite shampoos is Best Shot, and you can find that at groomersmall.com. And a lot of customers comment on how wonderful our puppies smell, and that is a great product. But you can also pick up your first bottle here at our store, and this is just a tearless shampoo. Rinse thoroughly, and then you can use your own handheld blow dryer to back blow your puppy to make it nice and fluffy. And as you're doing that, you're going to be using your 7-inch metal comb to make sure there are no mats in your puppy. With that being said, a nice facial comb is this little 5-inch comb, and you can find these at petedge.com. And this is really nice because the teeth are finer, and you can comb right up next to the eyes, and you can get any eye boogers out or any matter that is starting to collect in the corner of their eyes, and I really like that one. Another thing you'll want to do is maybe go ahead and invest in a little ball nose scissors. This scissors here has a rounded edge, and so when that hair starts to get really long by their eyes, it can curl into and cause eye irritation. So what I like to do is come over the top of the puppy, and I like to cut just like this, never pointing the scissors at the puppy's eye, but going over the top of the puppy and cutting in a downward motion like this, and keeping that eye hair really nice and short. And I do that on both sides, and that way your puppy won't get any hair in its eyes. And you can also do a little facial trimming if you want a nice rounded look to your puppy. The number one rule when you're doing scissoring is never cut what you can't see. You can also go underneath the tail, and you can cut that hair right around the rectum nice and short, because if that hair gets long under the rectum, they can get a fecal mat, and you don't want that. So your puppy will start to smell. So keep the hair cut nice and short under the tail. Just always locate the testicles if you have a little male, and then just cut right above. So that's a nice little tool that you can consider investing in. Here is a dematter tool. Let's say you did fall behind on your grooming. Now this is pretty razor sharp, so you want to be careful, but this will just work through the mat. Let's say you have your puppy in a nice beautiful long coat, and there's this big mat and you can't get it out, but if you chop it off, it'll look like a big divot in their coat and kind of ruin their look. So this will break up the mat, and then you'll be able to go through with the comb and comb it through, and that way you keep the hair length, keeping your puppy looking nice. Your first acclimation appointment, if you don't want to do any at-home grooming, would be at 15 weeks of age. And that's to get your puppy used to the smell of a grooming salon. It can be quite overwhelming for puppies to go into a new environment like that, but your groomer will start to teach your puppy commands and how to stand on the table and how to behave on a table. If you wait until your puppy is 5 or 6 months old to go to the groomer, your puppy's going to be pretty wild on the table. And if you've purchased a standard dog, the groomer's going to say, I don't want to groom this dog. It has no manners. I'm wrestling with it the whole time, and it's a workout for them for 3 hours to groom an on-trained standard dog that's never been up on the grooming table, that's now completely matted. And you just want to have that good working relationship with your groomer right away. So start your at-home combing right when your puppy comes home. Do your acclimation appointment so they can get used to the sound of a forced air blow dryer. They're very loud and can be very scary to puppies. So the more they get used to that at a younger age, the better your puppy will behave in the grooming salon. They're also going to get used to getting their toenails trimmed, and they're going to get used to the smells. They're going to get used to the sound of the shaver on their body. That can be frightening to puppies, a loud, buzzing sound, and that shaver getting close to the face where the groomer's working with the puppy, and they have to get used to being being sensitized on their paw pads when they're getting their paw pads cleaned out. So that's why you want to do that acclimation appointment at 15 weeks. They might not be ready for a trim at that time, like a full body trim, but you can have the groomer shape it a little bit if you'd like to. And then at 5 months, they start to go through a coat change. And that's what I call the gangly teenager look. The puppies have grown tall, their puppy coat is changing, it's starting to look dry, it's starting to thin out, and it looks a little ratty. And you'll know when you're there. And that's when you want to take off the puppy coat and have the groomer trim the puppy up. And so I always tell my customers to communicate in terms of inches with your groomer. The shorter you go, the uglier they can look, but the longer you have before you have to be back and have another appointment with the groomer. So if you say, I want to go 1/4 inch on the body, you might buy yourself 6 to 8 weeks before you have to be back and pay that bill again. If you say, oh, I just can't part with the puppy coat, keep it at 1.5 inches or 2 inches, you'll probably be back in 4 to 5 weeks. And that's totally up to you and it's your preference, but learn to communicate in terms of inches. So you can say, I want a 1/2 inch on the body, I want the full mustache and a full tail, but don't go into your groomer and say, I want a puppy cut, because you have no idea what that means. And you don't know what the groomer thinks that means, and your puppy could come out looking exactly, how you don't want it to look. So first professional trim around 5 months, but it doesn't mean that you don't do anything until then. You need to get started as soon as your puppy comes home, and then your groomer will get you on a schedule, and you'll know exactly what you want your puppy to look like, and you'll be off to a great relationship. So another good product to have at home is some epiotic ear solution. And this is, you always want to, like when you're giving your puppy a bath or doing any trimming at home, you want to go over the entire condition of the dog. You want to see if you can trim the nails. There's YouTube videos on how to trim nails if you want to do some of that, and how to clean ears. I think we might even have some on our website, but this is a really good product to use. We do sell it in our store as well, and you can just put it right in the ear and use a little cotton ball and clean out the ear. Sometimes dogs will have hair in the ear, and you'd need to buy a little forceps to get that hair out. Otherwise, you can just have your groomer do it too. But this is a good product to consider if you want to do a little of that at home for maintenance. Thank you for watching today, and I hope these tips helped.